What's up everyone? Alex here. So I've been keeping a close eye on the discussion surrounding Clair Obscur Expedition 33, a game that I'm super excited about, which by the way, if you haven't checked it yet, check out my 20-minute spoiler-free review to find out why. And yeah, I kind of expected the "is this a JRPG" discourse rear its ugly head. Because let's be real, anytime a new RPG comes out that resembles the classics and isn't made in Japan, the purity tests come out in full force. Because even knowing that, something about this hit differently. It wasn't just the usual nitpicking, it was the sheer volume of people insisting that this doesn't count. And honestly, this is exactly why I needed to say something. So let's talk about the most controversial four-letter word in gaming that isn't a curse word. JRPG. It should be simple for many of us, right? Japanese role-playing game. Done. Except it's not that simple at all. In fact, if you ask 10 different gamers what they think a JRPG is, you'll actually get like 12 different definitions, and maybe a couple of fights in the comments. So what is a JRPG? Is it a game made in Japan? Is it a game with turn-based combat? Is it the anime art style? Is it melodrama, crystals, magic, or moody teens grappling with the apocalypse? Yes, no, sometimes? And that's the problem. We're using one word to describe 4 different things. So let's start here. JRPG is the only genre that's defined by a country of origin. You don't call Alan Wake a FNPS, a Finnish narrative psychological shooter. You don't call Hollow Knight a ARPGA, an Australian role-playing adventure. But with JRPGs, we somehow treat Japanese as the genre itself. Now, sure, maybe once upon a time that made sense. In the 90s, the gameplay loop of Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Persona, and Tales felt pretty distinct when you compare it to something like Fallout or Ultima. They looked different, they played different, and if we're gonna be honest, they vibed differently too. But now, we have turn-based games made in Canada that feel more like Chrono Trigger than Final Fantasy XVI. And guess what? They are still called JRPGs. Why? Because the term has evolved past geography. It's become a shorthand for a style. But here's the catch, and to be clear, this used to be my stance well before I actually started my research for this video. No one can really agree what that style actually is. When people say JRPG, they could mean a game with turn-based combat, party-based progression, pre-written characters instead of blank slates, a focus on narrative versus player choice, highly stylized visuals, anime or otherwise, linear or chapter-based structure, and yeah, maybe a touch of melodrama. But then you've got games like Elden Ring or Dark Souls, which are action RPGs through and through, which then gets lumped into JRPGs because they were all made in Japan. So is Elden Ring a JRPG even though it doesn't play like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy at all? That's the kind of inconsistency I'm talking about here. It's not wrong, but notice how much this label changes depending on who's using it. What about games like Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy 15? They don't have turn-based battles. Are they still JRPGs? What about Yakuza Like a Dragon, which introduced turn-based gameplay to a series that was known for action combat? What about Sea of Stars? It looks and plays like a JRPG, but it's made by a Canadian team. And now, Clair Obscur is getting the exact same treatment. It's not that it doesn't walk, talk, and play like a JRPG. It's just not made in Japan. So now we've got a label based on a place that is used to describe a style that is no longer confined to that place. And worse, people are using it to gatekeep. This is where things start to get toxic. Because once a term becomes nebulous, it gets used as a weapon. And it's one that some people wield to discredit anyone who defines it differently. Believe it or not, I've seen people say Persona 5 is too anime to be a real JRPG. I've seen people say Chained Echoes doesn't count because it wasn't made in Japan. I've seen people argue that Final Fantasy XIII was quote-unquote the death of the JRPG just because it didn't fit their personal definition. And now, Clair Obscur is in the crosshairs too. Y'all. If we spend this much time excluding games, maybe the definition isn't the problem. Maybe the mindset is. It's less about understanding a genre and more like drawing a circle and basically saying that this game doesn't belong in there. Worse, it's also an attack on the person using that label. It becomes this indirect statement, you're wrong and I'm right, which completely misses the point of what genres are meant to be used for in the first place. So let's define what a genre is. The point of a genre label is to help you find things that you like. It's a tool, a recommendation engine, a way of saying, hey, if you like this, you'll like that. Knowing where a game is made doesn't help me understand how a game plays. Okay, fine. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is an FRPG of some kind because it was made in France. But what does a French RPG look or play like? See what I mean? Right now, JRPG is used as a border checkpoint. Pepis, please. Where were you developed? What's your combat system? How anime are your cutscenes? It's gatekeeping, wrapped in nostalgia and dipped in semantics. And meanwhile, amazing games are being left out of the conversation because they don't tick every single arbitrary box. That doesn't help anyone. Let's be real, we're probably stuck with the term JRPG. It's too embedded. It's too widely used. Even developers are using it in their marketing because it gets the point across, albeit imperfectly. But maybe instead of asking, is this a JRPG, maybe we should be asking better questions. What's the combat style? How's the story told? Is it open-ended or narrative-driven? Is it systems-heavy or character-focused? In other words, let's talk about what a game is and not what it isn't. Because honestly, I don't give a shit what country a game is made in. If it makes me cry over fictional characters or make me micromanage my loadout before a boss fight, that's my kind of RPG. At the end of the day, the reason why we care about labels like JRPG is because these games mean something to us. They shaped our tastes. They introduced us to stories that we'll never forget. They made us feel seen. And if somebody finds that same magic in a game that doesn't fit your definition, let them. Because the whole point of this whole thing, the point of playing video games, isn't to be right. It's to be moved. Okay, that's enough of me yapping, but I hope that I've given you some food for thought, because really, we're all here because games matter to us. They make us feel. They connect us. And no genre label, console debate, or comment war should ever get in the way of that. Let's keep celebrating the games that move us, no matter where they made or how they're played. Discover, play together. Now you know the meaning behind this channel's slogan. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.